The American people want one thing. The imperialist corporations want something else. How do we stop them and restore democracy? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. In Pennsylvania. Hey, Jared, what's on your mind today?
Hello, Tom. I want to talk about Iran, of all things. I think Joe Biden's handling of Iran so far has been a complete disaster. In fact, I see pretty much no difference between the Biden administration and the Trump administration on things like Iran, Venezuela, China, Russia. In fact, the same foreign policy seems to just be continuing from one administration to another. Anthony Blinken is a disaster. He's just as hawkish as Mike Pompeo. And Iran should, this whole...
Sure, nobody is as hawkish as Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo wants to be president, and he thought, bombing his way to something might get him there.
Well, I mean, when it comes to that, okay, so maybe not as hawkish, but he's definitely on the same path as Mike Pompeo in terms of how much more are we going to take of this, Western hubris that America can tell Iran, we can sanction it, we can tell them they can't have nuclear weapons, even though America and Israel have nuclear weapons, and America has actually used nuclear weapons, not just in warfare, but also on civilian populations.
Well, you have the entire planet. I mean, we've had several treaties. The UN is involved in this. The entire planet has been trying to dial back on nuclear weapons. I think the larger issue is, why are we taking the side of Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the UAE against Iran, when what may be in America's interest would be to rejoin the European countries, Russia and China, and putting back together this deal with Iran and abandoning, as Dr. Parsi said, some of the purely punitive actions, particularly the sanctions that have been taken against Iran, that are not necessarily connected to that deal.
I already have the answer. Because imperialist interests of those countries and our own imperialist interests are not actually aligned with the interest of the American people. There was a huge lobbying effort from Iranians in exile in America. Look up the January 6th riots, and you'll see a whole bunch of Shah flags from these comprador Iranians in America. And you'll realize that a lot of our foreign policy is being run by these special interest groups, also, as Obama called it, the blob, and nothing's going to change.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Cubans, some of the Cubans in the United States who had property expropriated by Castro, 70 years ago. They still think they can get it back, and they're still working toward that. There are people who had property expropriated by, or appropriated, I guess is the proper word, by the Iranian government. They want it back. I get it. Jared, I got to run, but thank you.